I do support strengthening and expanding the Affordable Care Act, but I believe we can do better with Medicare for All. Now, Medicare for All can make the difference between sending a family to financial ruin and receiving fully paid, no-deductible, robust, quality health care. Medicare for All, it's the answer to the problem that we've been facing. Why are we putting profits before people? A lot of people don't know that the #1 cause of bankruptcy in America is medical debt. 60% of the people who file for bankruptcy do so over medical bills. And 70% of the Americans that file medical debt or bankruptcy for medical debt, they have health insurance. They're going to work, they're paying high premiums, they're paying high deductibles, they're doing everything right. And then they get sick and they lose everything. And that's something we must change. One of my volunteers spends $5,000 every single year after insurance on her prescription pills just to stay alive. And under Medicare for All, you won't have to do that anymore. The price for prescription drugs will be capped at $200 per year, which means if you fill your prescription in January for $200, you fill your prescriptions for the rest of the year at no cost to you. Now, a lot of people will say, how do you pay for it? Nothing is free, Medicare for All is socialism, blah, blah, blah. And we are going to pay for it. And the way we're going to pay for Medicare for All is by paying 4% of our income after $29,000. And I'll break it down real quick. You don't have to remember any of these numbers. They're all legit. But the average household income in Arkansas is $48,000 a year as of last year. So you'll take $48,000, subtract $29,000, leaves you with $19,000. And 4% of $19,000 actually comes down to about $760 a year, or $63 a month. So the average Arkansan family can cover their entire household for $63 a month. Now, if you make under $29,000, of course, it will still be no cost to you the same way Medicaid is currently. Now, the thing about Medicare for All, people want to know what it means. Well, Medicare for All means no networks, no premiums, no deductibles, no copays, no surprise bills. Medical coverage, Medicare coverage will be expanded and improved to include dental care, hearing, vision, home and community-based long-term care, inpatient, outpatient services, mental health, substance abuse treatment, reproductive and maternity care, and much more. We're going to stop the pharmaceutical industry from ripping off the American people by making sure that no one pays over $200 a year for their prescriptions and making sure that no Americans die because they can't afford their medicine. So, what about the cost of childcare? Did you know that the #1 expense for most households is childcare? As a parent of a young child, I've experienced firsthand the costs of childcare. Many families pay nearly the same amount for their childcare as they do for their rent or their mortgage. If you elect me to be your senator, I will fight for free childcare as well as a universal pre-K for all families in America. I want to take the large burden off of the working class and help those people focus on things that are going to better their lives as well as bettering our society. The next thing I wanted to talk briefly about is food insecurity in Arkansas. In Arkansas, 500,000 people, 500,000 people are food insecure in our state. And 150,000 of those people are children. 1 in 4 children in Arkansas go to bed with a hungry stomach, and that is unacceptable. It will cost about $240 million to make sure that there is no more food insecurity in Arkansas. And as your U.S. Senator, I will make sure that we reallocate that $240 million from some other form of wasteful spending to make sure that no American or no Arkansans go to bed with a hungry stomach.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody wants to talk about taxes. High taxes, low taxes, no taxes, all these different taxes issues. Well, Did you know that if we do not repeal Donald Trump's 2017 massive multi-trillion-dollar tax cuts for billionaires, that your taxes will be going up this year and every single year for the next 6 years in a ballooning fashion? Yes, you heard me right. In 2017, Donald Trump and Republican politicians gave big corporations and super rich a $3 trillion tax cut. They told us this money would trickle down to us. They say supply side economics is the answer, Reaganomics. Give the rich a big tax break and it will come back to us. But instead what happened was all of that money went to offshore foreign bank accounts to build interest while corporations performed the largest buyback, the largest stock buyback in history. This stock buyback led to CEOs getting hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses, while the working class continued to suffer and none of that money trickled back down to us. Guess what Trump and Republican politicians didn't tell you about their 2017 tax cuts? They did not tell you that their 2017 $3 trillion tax cut plan includes a tax increase of $400 per year to anyone making between $20,000 and $30,000. And it's also going to continue increasing every single year for the next 6 years. And that's another reason I'm running to be your U.S. Senator. I'm running to be your U.S. Senator to vote to repeal the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. My tax plan is to eliminate federal income taxes for anyone earning less than $40,000 per year. And how are we going to pay for that? Thank you. You know how we're going to pay for that? We're going to pay for it by enforcing, not necessarily raising taxes on the rich, even though in 1952 at 92% tax rate, the middle class grew at the fastest pace in U.S. history. We're not going to burden them with raising their taxes. We're going to enforce the taxation that they currently avoid altogether. While giant corporations and billionaires pay $0 in taxes, your family and mine, we pay 15, 20, 25, 30, a single male 35% in taxes, while billionaires get off scot-free. And we're going to make them pay those taxes. I'm the only Democratic Party candidate who will go to Washington, and I will fight for your family and for mine. I will bring Arkansans' voices to the legislative process, and I will not only make Arkansans' voices heard, I will make Arkansans' voices roar. It's the heart of our nation that makes us so unique and special. It's caring about each other. True patriotism requires us to care about each other. There's a longing in America for agreement, a longing for peace, and we benefit when we all stand together. Unfortunately, Republican politicians stand against us. They stopped caring about the little guy, about the working class, long ago. In 2020 and 2021, we suffered the worst pandemic in U.S. history. COVID-19 shut down everything in the first quarter of last year. It shut down your job, your income, manufacturing. It severely burdened nearly every single aspect of all of our lives. And what did the Republican politicians do? Other than the CARES Act in March of 2020, each Republican senator, including my opponent, Senator John Boozman, voted against sending your family any form of relief. They voted against sending you the last stimulus checks. If you got a stimulus check, it wasn't because your representative here in Arkansas voted to give it to you. It was because the Democratic Party finally had the majority in the Senate, and they said enough is enough, people are suffering, and they need relief now. I will never understand how the Republican politicians have been so uncaring and indifferent to the very people who pay their salaries. And that's another reason that I am running for U.S. Senate. I truly care about the working class. I care about families struggling to meet ends meet. to make ends meet. I will go to Washington to fight for a living wage and for lowering your taxes, to fight for Medicare for all and education for all, and to fight for your right to pursue life, liberty, and freedom in these United States of America. I believe I can make a difference as your senator, and I can make that difference by giving you the choice to have a voice in the legislative process. Thank you guys so much for coming this evening. I truly am blessed to have you all here. I appreciate it. I'm going to continue, of course, we have the room until like 10 o'clock tonight, so I'll stay as long as y'all are here. Like I said, there's still tons of food. This is just the first round. There's a whole nother round. So eat what you can, and then the leftovers will be donated to the People's Pantry. I saw Mr. Walton walk in. Thank you so much for coming. And Jordan's going to play some music for y'all. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Awesome.
Love you, Dan. See you later.
Oh, thank you, Richard.